it's Wargamer Shawn. Actually got a little bit of a break for lunch at home, and I'm got a little bit more of a break on the schedule to do a review quick. I figured before I went back to work, so don't know when this is going to go up, but I'm doing it on I guess Wednesday the 11th of May. Jeez. Um, anyway, I'm going to do a review of the Codex supplement, the Crimson Slaughter. This is a paperback. The first one was a hard copy that was done in late 6th edition, I think. Yeah, they came out with a Black Legion not long after when they started doing supplements. The first one was Iandan in 6th edition. But then they did Farsight, and then they did Black Legion, and they did this one much later. This one's a soft cover versus the original hardcover. And before I start doing the review, I wanted to do a big shout out to all of my Legion of Gamza friends and members, fellow members. If you haven't checked out, check out the Legion of Gamza. There's a Facebook page and also a web page run by Idic Beer. And you can check out the members of the Legion of Gamza. Check them out and subscribe if you would. It'd be great. Check them out. They're really a bunch of good guys and all guys at this point. But, who knows? Maybe at some point it'd be nice to have a lady on there as well. But check them out. Subscribe if you like them. And just wanted to say a big shout out to everybody and thanks for all the support and everything that we do for each other and chatting with each other and stuff. And there's a lot of them on there that I've never met in person, but I feel like I'm pretty close to them just because I feel like they're just, good people and nice people, very supportive people. So shout out to them. Now to the Crimson Slaughter. Crimson Slaughter. It's like everything is about murder, skulls, and everything. I think GWB is a little unoriginal sometimes. I mean, I get blood for the blood god, but, it is what it is. So, let's do the Crimson Slaughter. Unfortunately, again, I was kind of hoping for a Decurion type formation or detachment that you could take for the Crimson Slaughter to kind of help Chaos Space Marines out. Just like the Black Legion, we didn't get that. It's kind of like a reprint of the original one, although they give us a few more new formations and stuff, so they didn't really change a lot, which is rather unfortunate. Now, all models in the Crimson Slaughter detachment have the Fear special rule. Now, this is something to keep in mind. It's something that we frequently forget about because Space Marines they shall know no rules, so they just kind of ignore it. But there's a lot of units out there, especially our little pointy-eared friends, the Eldar and Tau. Tau are very fearful, that are susceptible to fear, so they need to take a fear check if they're in close combat with these guys. Everybody, even the lowly cultists in here, cause fear, which is pretty cool. When you're choosing Crimson Slaughter detachment, units of Possessed have the troops battlefield roll instead of elites. Furthermore, the Possessed do not have the Vessels of Chaos special rule in Chaos Space Marines, but instead roll a D3 on the table below at the beginning of each controlling player's turn. The mutation affects every Possessed model in the unit and lasts until the start of the controlling player's next turn. So basically, one is a Spirit Beacons. The units have Shrouded special rule. And the vehicle, if they're embarked on a vehicle, also is Shrouded. Beasts, they change their infantry to beasts, so that's really awesome. That's the one you kind of hope for. Incorporeal Bodies, they have a 3+ invulnerable save, and they gain Rending special rule. Also pretty good. I mean, even the Shrouding's not bad. I mean, unfortunately, Possessed just aren't that great, and this actually kind of makes them the best they can be. Renegades of Dark Millennium, no units in Crimson Slaughter detachment, except for Berserkers, Khorne Berserkers, Plague Marines, and Noise Marines, can have Veterans of the Long War. So they can't get it. Because I think, and I get it, their shtick, their fluff is that they're kind of a newer convert. They basically just recently became, basically Chaos Space Marines. They were loyal Marines before. Relics. You may choose relics from Crimson Slaughter. At and blah, 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 formation. They can choose Chaos. May choose relics from Chaos Space Marine. In addition, they can choose Chaos artifacts from Chaos Space Marines. Sorry, I was just making sure because in the Black Legions they changed it, and they did in this one too. You can now take Crimson Slaughter relics as well as relics from the main Chaos Space Marine book. When you're generating Warlord traits, you can generate them out of the 40k rulebook, Chaos Space Marine rulebook, or in the table in this book. Let's go through those. Let's learn those together. Warlord traits. Roll of a 1 is Murderous Hate. Your Warlord has Hatred special rule. When attacking enemies with Dark Angel faction, your Warlord and the unit he joins can reroll failed to hit rolls in every round, not just in the first. So that's powerful. That's actually better than the Black Legion where they get preferred enemy against just Space Marines. This is Hatred. Hatred's awesome. And if you happen to be fighting Dark Angels, which, if you're playing competitively, probably not. But if you're playing fun games, you might. You get to roll every turn. Awesome sauce, so I'll take it. Maelstrom of Torment. Subtract 1 from the leadership of any enemy units within 12 inches of your Warlord. Subtract 2 instead when any of those tests make them to take a Fear test. That's cool, too. Like I said, if you're playing against Space Marines, the Fear test won't matter. But still, leadership is still a big deal, seeing if you fail or flee or, whatnot. 3 is Maddened Rage. Your Warlord has Rage and Furious Charge special rules. If the Warlord or his unit is within 12 inches of an enemy at the beginning of the shooting phase, he cannot shoot, but must attempt to charge in the ensuing assault phase, if at all possible. It's okay. Merciless Slaughter. Your Warlord has a Crusader special rule. It's okay. Spectral Assailants. Your model in base contact with the Warlord, enemy models in base contact with a Warlord take take D6 Strength 3 AP dash hits at the Initiative 10 subphase. That's cool. Pall of Mist. The Warlord has a Shrouded special rule. Also cool because that confers to the squad he's with, which is cool. So, I think these Warlord traits are a little bit better than the Black Legion Warlord traits. Probably, potentially worth considering rolling on. Let's go to the relics. Blade of Relentless. Strength of the user, AP 3, Melee Soul Siphon. Make a note of how many models are removed as casualties as a direct result of the wielder's close combat attacks over the course of battle. At the end of every assault phase, compare the current total to the chart to see what things are applied. They are cumulative, the effects. So if you have 1 kill, you get +1 strength. 3+ kills, AP2, which is good. And then 5+ kills, +1, another +1 strength. So, and then over 10 kills, instant death. Probably not going to get to the 10 that often, but 3 kills isn't that hard, and becoming an AP2 weapon is pretty nice. Crozius of the Dark Covenant. This can only be taken by a Dark Apostle and replaces their power maul. +2 strength, AP4, so just like a Crozius Arcanum. Melee Concussive Warp Medium. All friendly Crimson Slaughter units within 6 inches of the bearer has the Zealot special rule. That's pretty dang nice. 6 inches. My Space Wolves are crying right now because their Wolf Priests just have Fearless and don't get Hatred or Zealot, which I wish they did. This Zealot 6-inch Zealot bubble is awesome. Zealot is really powerful. I mean, you're basically Fearless and have Hatred. You can't argue with that. And sorry, that's 30 points. The first one was 30 points as well. Everything's pretty much, a lot of things are 30 points. Demon Heart is 30 points. It may not be taken by a Demon Prince. Demon Heart confers a 2+ armor save, and it will not die special rule. Pretty nice. Prophet of the Voices is 30 points. The bearer has the Demon, Fleet, Fearless, Slaves to the Voices special rule, see opposite. He can only join units of Crimson Slaughter possessed. Roll once for the Slaves of the Voices rule. Apply the result to both character and the unit. So Slaves of the Voices are the rules for the possessed, and so he basically becomes possessed. Anyway, Balestar of Manon. This is 25 points. It's Chaos Sorcerer only. The bearer can choose to generate powers from divination, and he can reroll any unsuccessful tests when he's taking psychic tests. However, neither he nor any unit he joins can benefit from any modifiers to deny the witch. That's a little bit of a sucky thing, but honestly, it doesn't. I don't think it's really affected me too much. I use this artifact like a lot. I really like this one because divination is awesome. Prescience, having access to prescience is awesome. I'll run a sorcerer a lot of times with I don't know if you remember, but a while back the Hell Brutes had some data slates came out in some formations, and there's one that's I think it's blanking right now. I think it's 4 or maybe 5 Hell Brutes, and one of them becomes a sergeant, and he's got a 5-up invulnerable saves. You can take lookout sirs on him. Well, what I do with that squad is I load them up. It's a little expensive, but Twin Link Las Cannon and Missile Launcher. And with Divination, I try to go for Prescience, which I'm going to get, and I try to go for Forewarning, so they have a 4-up invulnerable save. And so I basically make them kind of an unkillable unit, and I put the Sorcerer in a big squad of cultists to kind of running around behind them or, surrounding the Hellbrutes, and that just becomes a really killy, shooty squad. It's really good. So, and then the next one is Slaughterer's Horns. It's 15 points, and the bearer of the Slaughterer's Horns has the Furious Charge, Hammer of Wrath, and Rage special rule. It's okay. All right, let's go on to the formations. The Ravagers. It's 1 unit of Chosen, 1 unit of Possessed. The Chosen Champion from... Sight of the Third Eye. If the Chosen Champion from Drazich Ravagers is alive at the start of your turn, you can pick one of the units from the formation to benefit from his prescience. For the duration of your turn, that unit can reroll all failed to hit rolls. So that's cool. And then Disciples of Manon, 1 sorcerer, 1 unit of Possessed. At the start of the battle, roll 2 dice and put them to one side, representing a prophecy granted to the sorcerer. The first time during the battle that your opponent rolls exactly 2 dice, for example, leadership tests, charge rolls, psychic tests, 2 warp charge points, a model firing an assault 2 weapon, etc., the results match the 2 dice you put aside, the prophecy comes to pass, and a unit of demons is immediately summoned within 18 inches of the sorcerer from the Disciples of Manon, as if he had just manifested a conjuration psychic power. Roll a d6 to determine what kind of unit is summoned. 1 to 3, it's a 10 pink horrors of Tzeentch. 4 to 5, 3 screamers of Tzeentch or 3 flamers of Tzeentch. And 6 is a Lord of Change or Herald of Tzeentch. That's 1 sorcerer and 1 unit of Possessed. It's kind of a Possessed tax, but it's kind of nice. You just got to remember to look at it. The next one is the Brethren of the Dark Covenant. It's 1 Dark Apostle, 1 unit of Possessed, 1 to 3 units of Chaos Space Marines. Unbridled Wrath. At the start of your shooting phase, the Dark Apostle from the Brethren of Dark Covenant can scream a litany of rage and bloodshed instead of shooting. If he does so, each other unit from the formation that is within 12 inches is filled with an unholy zeal and gains a Zealot and Feel No Pain special rule until the start of your next turn. Now that's powerful, so 12-inch range bubble of Zealot and Feel No Pain. It's pretty good. They're kind of trying to get the Dark Apostle out the door, I think, but I've always liked the Dark Apostle. I'm kind of excited to get him used, so I think this is actually kind of a cool one. I'll have to try this one out. And it's not too much of a tax. It's a 1 unit of Possessed and 1 to 3 units of Chaos Space Marines. All right. Cult of Slaughter. 1 Dark Apostle, 2 to 8 units of Chaos Cultists. Unit of Chaos Cultists from the Chaos Slaughter have a leadership of 10 while they're within 9 inches of the formation's Dark Apostle. That's pretty big. Frenzied Horde. The Cults of Slaughter follow their Dark Apostle unquestioningly, staggers Staggerers seizing up fallen weapons, even as mortally wounded warriors drag themselves to their feet to continue fighting. At the start of each of your movement phases, roll a dice for each unit of Chaos Cultists in the Cult of Slaughter within 18 inches of the formation's Dark Apostle. That many slain models can return to the unit. Each must be set up within an inch, with coherency and not within an inch of any model. Any models that can't be set up this way are lost. That's really big. I mean, like, he's basically kind of bringing them back from the brink of death. And when you kind of look at it, when we were originally playing the game and back in second edition, I remember we kind of play campaign games, and at the end of your game, you'd roll a d6, and half the time, the people that had fallen or gone, that were casualties during your battle, were just wounded. They weren't dead, so you could bring it back next game. And then, like, a 4, 5, and 6, they were dead. Unless they had modifiers went up, it was a really high strength weapon or something. So I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of like, okay, they're wounded. They normally would have been out for the battle, but they're devoted to him so much that they just decide, okay, guys, get up, let's go. I think it's pretty cool. Next one is Lords of Slaughter. 1 Chaos Lord, 1 unit of Possessed, 1 unit of Chaos Terminators, 1 to 3 units of Chaos Space Marines. Whispered Portents. The Chaos Lord from the Lords of Slaughter is a Mastery level 1 Psyker. He always knows prescience from the Power of Divination discipline. He can target any unit from the Lords of Slaughter regardless of range when attempting to manifest his power. So that he could be anywhere on the board. And prescience his unit, which is pretty dang amazing in my opinion. I mean, I think this is a good unit too. I'm kind of glad they're kind of giving these guys some, this book. There were a few exceptions, but in the Black Legion book, I just didn't think they were that great as far as formations. But there's some cool formations here. I mean, they're making you take Possessed, which is a little unfortunate, but it's their shtick. It's kind of their thing, because a lot of these Space Marines have become possessed. So I get it. Crannon's Hellguard. 1 Chaos Lord, 1 unit of Chosen, 1 unit of Chaos Terminators, 2 units of Chaos Cultists, 1 unit of Raptors, 1 Chaos Land Raider, 1 Hellbrute. They all have Stubborn. That's pretty big. Swarm of Phantasms. Enemy units that are within 12 inches of at least 1 unit from this formation subtract 1 from their leadership. Enemy units that are within 12 inches of at least 2 units from this formation subtract 1 from their ballistic skill to a minimum of 1. That's pretty big, because if you're kind of massing, this is kind of a horde, bringing them forward, and you're, you got 2 units below, you're bringing them down ballistic skill by 1. That's pretty darn big. It's kind of a cool formation. I don't know how often you'll see it, but I think it's a cool formation. All right. The next one is a Red Onslaught. This is basically a combination of all the other formations. So it takes the Ravagers, the Disciples of Mana, and the Brethren of Dark Covenant, the Cult of Slaughter, the Lords of Slaughter, Crannon's Hellguard. Although units can normally only be taken in 1 detachment, units from the formation that are part of the Red Onslaught are an exception. They are part of both formations and have all associated special rules. If your warlord is part of the Red Onslaught, it is your primary detachment. Maddening Horde. Well, at least 1 unit from this formation is on the battlefield. Subtract 1 from the leadership of all enemy units. And then Demonic Resurgence. Is at the start of one of your turns, roll a dice. On a roll of 4 or more, each unit of Possessed from the Red Onslaught, that has been completely destroyed is placed in ongoing reserve. When these units arrive, they do so using the rules for Deep Strike, regardless of the formation they were previously part of. These units do not benefit from any formation special rules, however, they can still be summoned back to the battlefield using this rule. So that's pretty big too. So anytime you lose a unit of Possessed, each wow. So let's say you have, I'm just reading this to make sure I understand. Let's say you have 2 units of Possessed that have been completely destroyed. On a result of 4 or more, each unit of the possessed, so all of them have been destroyed, so both those units would go back into ongoing reserve and deep strike. Now it says the beginning of the start of each of your turns, so I'd imagine they'd get to deep strike right away. So you're bringing them back into the action right away. That's pretty big. And now think about when you're thinking about all of these things are part of it. So you got the Cult of Slaughter, so you're bringing back cultists too. I'll have to check this out and see how many points of an investment is. It's a lot of cultists and a lot of possessed, but it might be interesting to run. So that is the review. That is everything for the Crimson Slaughter supplement. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you have, if you're not, please consider subscribing to my channel. Once again, check out the Legion of Gamza and think about subscribing to everybody that's a member of the Legion of Gamza. Until next time, keep on wargaming, guys, and take care.
Goodbye, you sexy motherfucker.